Just a few decades ago, stepping into a bathroom was like entering a finely designed world full of highly personalized details. Before life became convenient, this room was filled with unique features that made them familiar. But then, over time, these little treasures were gradually replaced. In this video, we revisit 25 classic details that have quietly disappeared from modern homes. Stepping back in time, you enter a 1950s post-war American home, and the first thing you notice is that your bathroom is anything but plain white. Instead, it is vibrant and optimistic with pink and mint green tones. The feeling of brushing your teeth in a mint green sink is the definition of vintage charm. This was a design phenomenon that exploded in the 1950s, a period of optimism and suburban boom. Color had started creeping into bathroom fixtures since the 1920s, but it wasn't until the 50s that this trend truly took off. Major manufacturers like American Standard and Crane embraced this taste, offering a full range of bathtubs, toilets, and sinks in soft pastel colors. Among them, pink became particularly famous under the affectionate names My-Pink or Mamie-pink. This name was inspired by First Lady Mamie Eisenhower, who was famous for redecorating the White House in her favorite pink tones. Everything was meticulously coordinated, from the color of the main sanitary ware to the wall tiles, wallpaper, and even the towel set. Pastel colors brought a cheerful, warm, and lively feeling to the space. By the late 1970s, design tastes began to shift noticeably. The bold, vibrant colors of the previous era began to give way to a different look. Shower curtains instead of glass doors. For a long period in the history of American bathroom design, when the concept of the tub-shower combination became popular, shower curtains held the position as the common and almost exclusive solution for keeping water from splashing out. Shower curtains, often made of fabric or vinyl, were a practical choice for several reasons. First and foremost was the cost. Curtains were very affordable compared to installing heavy glass doors. This allowed most American families to easily adopt the shower design without major investment. But beyond economy, shower curtains were also a powerful tool for expressing personal style. They offered infinite flexibility, allowing homeowners to easily change the bathroom's look seasonally or according to preference. You could choose curtains with bright colors, quirky patterns, or bold motifs from the 60s or 70s to create an immediate visual highlight. The shower curtain acted like a large canvas in the small space of the bathroom. Furthermore, they were also easy to remove and replace, allowing users to keep the bathroom looking fresh without major remodeling. While glass doors created a fixed and formal feel, shower curtains offered softness, intimacy, and changeability. Shower curtains began to lose their dominance as modern improvements emerged. The biggest change came from modern glass shower doors with their sleek and luxurious design. Glass doors were preferred because they offered a sense of permanence and were easier to clean than fabric curtains. Carpeted bathroom floors. If there is one bathroom design choice that makes everyone raise an eyebrow, it is carpeting the bathroom floor. Yet, from the 1960s to the 1980s, installing plush or even shag, carpeting that extended throughout the room, right up to the tub and toilet, was a favored trend. Some families even chose bathroom carpets that matched the carpet in the adjacent bedroom, creating a strange sense of unity. The reason behind this trend was primarily to create warmth. Ceramic tiles, the traditional bathroom flooring material, were always cold to the touch of bare feet. Carpeting solved this problem, offering a soft, cozy, and luxurious surface underfoot. After stepping out of the tub, the feeling of placing your feet on a soft carpet provided an unusual comfort. Advertisements actively promoted bathroom carpets as a symbol of comfort and luxury. Homeowners wanted the bathroom to be not just a place for hygiene, but also a relaxing, warm, and more intimate space. But people were mistaken because moisture and carpet are a bad combination. The bathroom is a place constantly exposed to splashes, moisture, and sometimes leaky towels. Carpets have extremely high water absorption capacity, and the water trapped inside the fibers created ideal conditions for mold and mildew to grow rapidly. This led to unpleasant odors and persistent stains. Pull chain toilets. Before the modern toilet tank sat neatly behind the bowl, It used to be hung high above the user's head. That was the advent of the pull-chain toilet, a classic bathroom fixture in the early 20th century. In this design, the tank was mounted high on the wall, a few feet above the bowl, and connected to the bowl by a long pipe. To flush, you had to reach up and strongly pull a chain or cord dangling from the tank. This was a breakthrough invention in the late 1800s, significantly improving hygiene and marking a major step forward in efficient waste disposal. This high-tank toilet was common in homes and public restrooms in the 1930s. They were designed to fully utilize gravity, creating an extremely powerful flush. Although they could be noisy, mechanical, and sometimes a little intimidating, they also had an undeniable elegance. They were often decorated with polished wooden seats, ceramic handles, and bright brass pipes, evoking a feeling of luxury and craftsmanship. Their construction with durable materials like porcelain and cast iron made them superior in terms of longevity. However, this elegance was challenged by the demand for space efficiency and easier cleaning. By the 1940s, lower-profile, low-tank toilets became the new standard. These designs made the bathroom significantly easier to clean, while saving more space compared to their tall predecessors. Today, pull-chain toilets only remain in some classic restorations or appear in old film scenes. For most people, they are just a faint memory of their grandparents' old house. Penny tile flooring. Returning to the early 20th century, bathrooms were designed with durability as a priority, and one of the most charming examples of that philosophy was penny tile flooring. These tiny round ceramic tiles, approximately the size of a penny, were meticulously arranged into intricate and sophisticated mosaic patterns. Typically, they appeared in white or pastel tones, combined with black accents or patterned borders, creating a visual burst. Penny tile flooring was particularly popular in bathrooms built from 1900, an era where craftsmanship was highly valued in home construction. The advantage was that they were aesthetically pleasing and extremely practical. These tiles had excellent water resistance, were easy to clean, and most importantly, they were effective in preventing slips. The grout between the small tiles created the necessary grip, making them a safe choice for wet areas. They were a modest but indispensable part of bathrooms of that time. As larger ceramic tiles began to become more affordable and common in the 1950s and 1960s, penny tiles gradually lost favor. The labor cost to install the tiny tiles, requiring this meticulous and time-consuming arrangement, was significantly higher than laying larger, more uniform tiles. At the same time, design tastes also shifted toward minimalism and smoother surfaces. Razor blade disposal slots. This is a bizarre but extremely practical detail in vintage bathrooms, the razor blade disposal slot. Have you ever seen a tiny slot at the back of an old medicine cabinet, often labeled for razor blades only? This is not a joke. Many homes were equipped with medicine cabinets that had this disposal slot. These were small openings that allowed users to drop used, double-edged razor blades directly into the wall. No container needed, no retrieval, just drop it, and they vanished forever. This solution was extremely logical at the time. Men often shaved with double-edged blades that needed frequent replacement. However, regular trash bins were not a safe place to dispose of sharp metal, posing a danger to garbage collectors. Therefore, builders designed a permanent, safe solution, turning the empty space inside the bathroom wall into a permanent razor blade landfill. The razor blade disposal slot served its purpose until disposable razors became widely available in the 1970s. At that point, there was no longer a need to discard sharp, bare metal blades. Furthermore, over time, a major problem arose. Over the years, thousands of razor blades piled up, accumulating deep inside the walls of American bathrooms, creating a potential hazard. These dangerous hidden treasures were often only discovered decades later during renovations, when old walls were torn down. Do you remember the surprise of accidentally discovering this mysterious razor blade slot in your grandparents' bathroom? Share your memories in the comments. Clawfoot tubs. Before the era of fiberglass and acrylic materials, there was a timeless item that was the heart of the American bathroom. The clawfoot tub, Introduced in the late 1800s, these freestanding cast iron tubs stood out with four elegant curved feet, often carved in the shape of claws or lion paws. With deep basins, they invited people to enjoy long, relaxing soaks. Clawfoot tubs were considered the gold standard of the bathroom, especially in larger homes where bathing was seen as an escape rather than mere hygiene. Their charm was not just in their graceful appearance. They were also very practical, easy to clean around, and extremely durable thanks to being made from cast iron and porcelain enamel. However, after World War II, tastes began to change rapidly. Homeowners started looking for more modern options, prioritizing practicality, and space-saving clawfoot tubs, with their heavy weight and large size, required sturdy floors for support and occupied significant space, becoming less practical as homes and bathrooms gradually became more compact. By the 1950s, built-in, wall-mounted tubs combined with showers became the new standard. And by the 1960s, most clawfoot tubs had been removed to make way for sleek, prefabricated fixtures. Separate hot and cold faucets. In classic bathrooms, one often encountered a simple yet finesse-demanding system: separate hot and cold faucets. Instead of a modern mixer faucet that allows you to adjust the temperature with a single lever, this system consisted of two separate taps. In many old American homes, leading hot and cold water to a single mixer was a technical challenge or not deemed necessary. Therefore, users were forced to become their own temperature engineers. To achieve the desired water temperature, users had to manually mix the hot and cold water in their hands or inside the sink. This often led to an imbalance between the two streams and required patience to avoid being scalded or chilled. The disappearance of separate hot and cold faucets began when mixer faucets were invented and became widespread. Mixer faucets were a major improvement, allowing users to simultaneously adjust both temperature and water flow with a single lever or knob. This significant convenience, along with hot water safety regulations, made the old two-tap system obsolete. Today, if you see a separate faucet system, it is usually a deliberate design choice to evoke a classic style, but it is no longer the functional standard. Laundry chutes. For many people who grew up in mid-20th century American homes, the laundry chute was a miraculous amenity, a magic hole in the wall. This was a common feature in large homes and residences from the mid-century up to the 1970s. The laundry chute was often discreetly hidden behind a small metal door on the bathroom wall, sometimes cleverly disguised as part of the cabinet. Its function was incredibly simple but provided maximum convenience. When there was dirty laundry or damp towels, you just opened the door, dropped them in, and poof, they vanished, dropping straight down to the laundry room or basement below. This saved significant time and effort, eliminating the need to carry heavy laundry baskets down multiple flights of stairs. Some larger homes even had multi-story chutes, connecting bathrooms from each floor, operating like a quiet, magical tunnel. For anyone who grew up tossing socks down the chute, the memory of their echoing sound remains vivid. This clever feature began to fade in the 1980s. Their decline came from two main factors: changing home design and safety regulations. As modern home designs began integrating laundry areas closer to bedrooms, often on the upper floors, the need for chutes decreased. More importantly, building safety codes raised serious concerns. Laundry chutes created a fire hazard because they could act as a rapid channel for fire to spread between floors. Additionally, there were concerns about the safety of curious children who might climb inside. Retractable clotheslines. In compact bathrooms or urban apartments without large outdoor space, the retractable clothesline was once an extremely practical solution. This was an ingenious space-saving mechanism, often discreetly installed on the bathroom wall. It allowed users to pull out a strong cord to hang clothes, damp towels, or small undergarments. When the drying was done, the cord would automatically retract back into the wall casing, keeping the bathroom tidy and clutter-free. This detail was especially useful for dealing with small items that weren't meant for the dryer or needed immediate drying. It represented a practical and space-efficient way of life, suitable for urban living or homes built during periods of material scarcity. The need for retractable clotheslines in the bathroom gradually diminished with technological advancement and changes in laundry habits. The widespread adoption of electric dryers eliminated most of the need for air drying clothes. Furthermore, the introduction of smarter drying solutions, like modern drying racks and combined heating devices, also replaced them. Although they still exist in some older homes as a relic of past convenience, they are no longer a standard feature in modern bathroom design. Among the details just mentioned, which one makes you the most nostalgic? Don't forget to hit the hype button. It's the best way to preserve these precious memories. Wall-mounted bathroom heaters. The feeling of warm air blowing on your feet after stepping out of a cold tub is a small detail that leaves a lasting impression. In the 1940s to 1960s, when central heating was not yet widespread, that post-bath coziness in a cold bathroom came from a small but powerful device: the wall-mounted bathroom heater. These were compact devices, often recessed into tile walls or drywall. Just flip the switch, you'd hear the small fan whirring, and within seconds the device would blow warm air into the room. These localized heaters were saviors on cold winter mornings, especially in harsh climates. They were widely installed during the post-war housing boom and were considered a sign of modern luxury. However, as American homes gradually transitioned to more comprehensive central heating systems in the 70s, these wall-mounted heaters became obsolete. Although they were effective for localized heating, they came with several issues. They were often noisy, difficult to repair, and most importantly, they could become a significant fire hazard if not properly maintained. The emergence of radiant floor heating and central heating, which provided more uniform and safer heat, caused these wall-mounted units to gradually disappear from modern bathroom design. Freestanding medicine cabinets. For decades, before bathroom mirrors were glued flat to the wall or nestled in sleek vanity units, American bathrooms often featured the presence of the freestanding medicine cabinet. This was a charming little box, usually mounted above the sink. Sometimes they even had small decorative details like little feet or elegant trim, looking as if they had just stepped out of the bedroom. These cabinets were the storage place for aspirin or shaving cream, and were decorated according to the homeowner's personality. They were often crafted from natural wood or sturdy metal with mirrored doors. Freestanding medicine cabinets provided easy access to daily necessities. For those who grew up with them, this cabinet was a familiar friend, filled with the smells, sounds, and daily routines of life. Some older cabinets even had clever secret compartments for storing valuables. As homes began to modernize in the 1970s and beyond, the demand for minimalism and space optimization became more important. These classic medicine cabinets were replaced by flat, recessed cabinets. Tile wainscoting. Half-tiled walls were once a prominent feature of American homes from the 1920s to the 1970s. This style involved tiling the wall only halfway up, usually around waist height. The remaining upper part of the wall would be painted or wallpapered. This look often used bright colors like pale blue, coral pink, or lemon yellow, and usually had a contrasting border running along the top edge to add grace and detail. Tile is a waterproof and extremely easy to clean material, making it the perfect choice for splash-prone areas near the sink or tub. Tiling half the wall protected the lower part of the wall from moisture and wear, which was especially important in the humid bathroom environment. For builders of that time, half tiling was a sign of care and craftsmanship. By the 1980s, design trends had shifted drastically. Minimalism became fashionable and people began switching to using drywall and paint. Chain pull lights. In many older bathrooms, and especially in areas without complex recessed wiring systems, chain pull lights were a simple and common lighting solution. To turn the light on or off, users didn't need a wall switch but simply pulled a small cord attached directly to the lampshade or light fixture. These pull cords were often made of durable materials like brass or porcelain, sometimes featuring a small ball or decorative shape at the end. For easy grip, this design was not only practical but also part of the daily ritual. The clicking sound of the cord being pulled is a familiar echo of the early morning. Technically, chain pull lights provided a practical solution in situations where installing traditional wiring and wall switches was difficult or expensive. They allowed users to control localized light easily and quickly. The decline of chain pull lights stemmed from two factors: convenience and electrical safety regulations. Over time, more modern, safer, and more convenient lighting solutions, such as wall switches, replaced them. Stricter electrical safety regulations also contributed to the elimination of this fixture. Wall switches remove the potential risk of electrical shock in the humid environment of the bathroom. Cast iron radiators. Before modern radiant floor heating and central heating, cast iron radiators played an important role in keeping the bathroom warm, especially during cold winters. These were heavy heat emitters made from cast iron material known for its durability and heat retention. Their working principle was to circulate hot water or steam through their sections, which then radiated stable and reliable heat into the room. Cast iron radiators were favored for their ability to maintain a stable temperature for a long period. They were sometimes painted to match the bathroom decor, transforming them from a functional device into a design element. However, cast iron radiators came with several significant drawbacks. First, they were very heavy. Their weight required extremely sturdy floors or mounting walls for support. This increased the cost and complexity of installation. Second, they occupied significant physical space in the bathroom, a major issue as space became more expensive. Finally, cast iron required regular maintenance to prevent rust and ensure efficient heating performance. Textured wall tiles. In an era where decoration and handcrafted details were emphasized, textured wall tiles were a popular choice in American bathrooms. These tiles stood out with diverse patterns ranging from sharp and complex geometric shapes to soft floral motifs. They were not merely flat tiles but offered visual interest and especially a tactile feel. Their popularity was driven by both aesthetic and practical factors. Functionally, textured wall tiles were durable, easy to clean, and effectively protected walls from steam and splashes. They created a solid protective layer in the humid bathroom environment. Design-wise, they allowed homeowners to add depth and personality to the space. They were often used as an accent wall or coordinated with pastel fixtures. However, like many other complex decorative details, the rise of minimalist and modern trends led to the decline of textured tiles. Designers began to favor flat, single-colored tiles with clean lines. This style created a sophisticated, elegant, and less visually cluttered look. Cleaning flat tiles was also easier than cleaning the rough, grooved surfaces of textured tiles. If you grew up with any of these details, don't forget to leave a comment below and share your memories. Pedestal sinks. Pedestal sinks are a common image in many bathrooms. They are symbols of simple and refined luxury. Instead of being placed on a bulky vanity cabinet, the sink basin of the pedestal unit is supported by a single, narrow, graceful column. These sinks were often made from classic materials like porcelain or ceramic, making them durable and easy to clean. The biggest advantage of this design was its remarkable space-saving ability. Their minimalist structure created the illusion of spaciousness, making small bathrooms feel much larger. For this reason, they were especially popular in half baths or apartments with limited space. But the strength of the pedestal sink was also its fatal weakness. Although they created spaciousness, they provided little or virtually no storage space. As society evolved, the need to store toiletries, cosmetics, towels, and other items steadily increased. This lack of storage space caused pedestal sinks to be gradually replaced by vanity cabinets. Wall-mounted cup holders. Do you remember those hurried but memorable mornings when the mouthwash cup was always neatly in its fixed position? Wall-mounted cup holders were a small but common accessory in American bathrooms. These graceful holders, often made from shiny chrome, white porcelain, or brass, were permanently attached to the wall right next to the sink. Their main function was to hold the mouthwash cup after brushing, ensuring it was always within reach and, more importantly, keeping the sink area tidy. In an era where sink counter space was often limited, this was an effective space management solution. They also helped keep the cup dry, which was more hygienic than leaving it face down on a damp countertop. Gradually, usage habits changed. People started switching to disposable paper cups or simply rinsing directly from the faucet. The introduction of more modern, minimalist bathroom designs also contributed to eliminating the need for these small, wall-mounted accessories. In modern design philosophy, everything must be seamless and there shouldn't be too many small objects protruding from the wall. Built-in soap dishes. In tiled bathrooms, practicality and integration were key. A perfect example is the built-in soap dish. These were fixed containers designed to be seamlessly installed into the tiled wall, usually in the shower area or sometimes right above the sink. Their purpose was clear: keep bar soap within reach and prevent it from slipping, falling to the floor, or melting due to continuous contact with water. Integrating them into the tiled wall demonstrated a commitment to permanence in design, as they were built to last forever. These dishes often had small drainage grooves to help the soap dry between uses. However, the dominance of built-in soap dishes was challenged by a small revolution: the rise of liquid soap. As liquid soap, body wash, and shampoo became popular, they were stored in more convenient bottles or dispensers. The need for a fixed place to put bar soap significantly decreased. Built-in radios and medicine cabinets. Especially in homes built starting from the 1950s, one could find a unique technological combination: a built-in radio in the medicine cabinet. This was a luxury feature at the time. These small radios were often discreetly hidden, perhaps behind the mirror or integrated into the cabinet door. Their main purpose was to allow users to listen to the news, weather forecast, or music, while performing morning rituals like shaving, styling hair, or applying makeup. This feature transformed the bathroom into a personal entertainment area, helping to start the day efficiently. It reflected an era where fixed devices integrated into the home architecture were seen as the pinnacle of convenience. But then the convenience of built-in radios was quickly eclipsed by the advent of mobile technology. The popularity of small portable radios, then cassette/CD players, and finally smartphones, eliminated the need for a fixed device. Toilet seat covers. These were soft covers, often made of polyester or cotton, designed to fit over the toilet lid and seat. They were usually color-coordinated or patterned to match the tank cover, and especially the bathroom rug. Their main purpose was to provide warmth and comfort to the cold surface of the toilet, especially in cold climates. The covers were also a way for homeowners to express personality through bright colors and fashionable patterns. In a typically cold and rigid bathroom, the toilet seat cover created a sense of intimacy and decoration. Like its sibling, the bathroom rug, the toilet seat cover faced a serious problem: hygiene. Although they provided warmth, these soft covers were prone to trapping dirt, hair, and bacteria. Keeping them clean was a major challenge, and they were quickly deemed less sanitary. Shelves above the toilet. When space became scarce in small bathrooms, every surface and vertical space was utilized. Shelves above the toilet were a common and extremely effective storage solution. These shelves were placed directly above the toilet, taking advantage of the vertical space often left empty above the tank. They provided a convenient spot to store various items, including reserved toilet paper, clean towels, infrequently used toiletries, or simply for displaying decorations. For small bathrooms that didn't have room for a large vanity or recessed cabinet, shelves above the toilet were a functional savior. If you ever used one, you would realize this design also had drawbacks and was gradually replaced. Although they provided storage space, shelves above the toilet often created a sense of clutter and were less aesthetically pleasing compared to modern solutions. Furthermore, storing objects directly above the toilet also posed potential hygiene risks. Wooden toilet seats. In bathroom history, material played a role just as important as design. Wooden toilet seats were once a standard and favored choice in many traditional homes. They were popular for a few reasons. They brought a natural, rustic, and sophisticated beauty, adding a classic touch to the bathroom. Tactilely, wood provided a significantly warmer feeling compared to cold porcelain or synthetic plastic materials. This was especially appreciated on cold winter mornings. However, wooden toilet seats were quickly replaced as hygiene standards, and modern materials evolved wood easily absorbs moisture. In the continuously humid bathroom environment, this not only made them less hygienic and potentially harbored bacteria, but also caused structural issues. Wood was prone to warping, cracking, or fading due to constant changes in temperature and humidity. Maintaining and keeping wooden seats sanitary required more effort than other materials. They were gradually replaced by high-durability, water-resistant synthetic materials and plastics. Laminate countertops. Laminate countertops became a popular and iconic choice in American bathrooms. Laminate is a material made from multiple layers of pressed plastic firmly glued onto a particle board or plywood core. Their popularity was driven by a combination of practicality and economy. Laminate countertops were affordable, making modern design accessible to many families without high costs. They were also relatively durable and very easy to clean, requiring just a wipe with a damp cloth. Additionally, laminate could be manufactured in many bold colors and patterns, often mimicking natural materials like marble or wood. This allowed homeowners to express their style flexibly and economically. Later, with prolonged use in the bathroom environment, they were prone to scratching, scorching, and especially prone to peeling or swelling when continuously exposed to water, particularly around the sink edges. Once water leaked into the plywood core, the material would be permanently damaged. Therefore, laminate countertops were gradually replaced by modern and more durable materials. Options like granite, quartz, or marble became more affordable and offered superior moisture and scratch resistance. Ever notice a tiny door in an old house or a mysterious vent above a doorway and wonder what it was for? Decades ago, American homes were filled with clever design ideas. Features that made everyday life simpler, safer, and surprisingly smart. From milk doors and laundry chutes to sleeping porches and attic fans, each served a purpose and told a story about how people lived. Today, we're unlocking those memories to rediscover 30 genius home features that quietly disappeared but still remind us of a time when houses truly worked for the families inside them. Before refrigerators, before early morning grocery runs, many American homes had a small secret door built right into the wall, the milk door. It was usually tucked near the kitchen, with one door opening to the outside and another to the inside. Each morning, the milkmen would quietly open the exterior hatch, place bottles of fresh milk inside, and close it again. When the family woke up, they'd simply open the inner door to retrieve their cold glass bottles. No need to step outside in the rain or snow. For decades, this tiny pass-through represented trust and community. You didn't worry about someone stealing your milk. Everyone knew their delivery schedule, and kids often waited by the window just to wave at the milkman. But as supermarkets, refrigeration, and modern packaging took over in the 1960s, milk doors were sealed, painted over, or forgotten behind kitchen remodels. Did your family ever have one of these? Or maybe you remember seeing a little bricked-up square on an old house and wondering what it was? Keep watching, because the next feature might be hiding in your memories too. Back when homes had real basements and mothers had mountains of laundry, one little invention saved endless trips up and down the stairs. The laundry chute. It was a simple idea, yet absolutely brilliant. A metal or wooden shaft that ran from the bathroom or hallway closet straight down to the laundry area below. You just drop your dirty clothes inside, hear them tumble down with a soft thud, and be done. Kids loved tossing things down there, sometimes even toys, while parents appreciated not having to lug baskets from every room. The laundry chute represented that clever, space-saving practicality of mid-century homes. But as houses became more open concept and fire codes tightened, builders phased them out. By the 1980s, most new homes left the laundry chute behind, replaced by laundry rooms inconveniently tucked upstairs or way out in the garage. Do you remember dropping clothes down one of these or peeking into the chute to see where it led? Before front porches filled with cardboard boxes and delivery trucks lined the streets, American homes had something far simpler: the mail slot or delivery compartment. Built right into the front door or wall, it let the postman drop letters and small packages straight into a safe little cubby inside the house. No doorbells, no porch steps, no weather-worn envelopes. Just a soft clink as the mail slipped through. Some homes even took it a step further with small, locked delivery boxes, where grocers or butchers could leave your order while you were out. It was a system built on trust and neighborly rhythm. When you knew your postman by name, and he knew your dog by bark. Every clatter from the slot meant something exciting. A letter from family, a birthday card, maybe even the long-awaited Sears catalog. In many early to mid-20th century homes, there was a hidden gem tucked neatly between the kitchen and the dining room, the butler's pantry. It wasn't a fancy name for storage. It was a hard-working space where meals were plated, silverware polished, and dishes washed after big family dinners. Shelves lined with gleaming china, glass front cabinets showing off the good dishes, and a countertop just wide enough to lay out a Sunday roast. Everything had its purpose. Some even had small sinks or warming drawers to keep food hot before it reached the table. For families who couldn't afford actual butlers, this room still offered the same feeling of grace and order. It was where your mother might sneak in to refill the gravy boat, or where kids would peek to grab a cookie before guests arrived. Before cell phones and smart speakers, some American homes had their own high-tech wonder, the household intercom system. Usually mounted on the kitchen wall or near the front door, it had a small speaker grill, a few buttons, and a microphone that let you talk to anyone in another room. With the press of a button, Mom could call the kids down for dinner, check who was at the door, or even play music through the built-in radio. It felt futuristic, like something out of the Jetsons. And every kid loved pressing those buttons just to hear the crackly voice echo through the house. By the 1960s and 70s, intercoms symbolized modern living. They showed up in split-level homes, new suburbs, and ranch houses where communication traveled through wires instead of footsteps. Of course, most of them buzzed, hissed, or picked up the occasional radio station. But that only added to the charm. Maybe you remember your mom's voice coming through it, calling everyone to dinner. No shouting required. Pass-through serving window. It was a small opening between the kitchen and dining room, often framed with wood trim or a little counter shelf. You could slide a plate through without opening a door or shouting for help, and it kept the smells and the mess out of sight. It was the unsung hero of countless family dinners, helping Mom move hot dishes from stove to table in one smooth motion. By the 1950s, it became a symbol of suburban efficiency, sometimes dressed up with sliding glass doors, scalloped trim, or even decorative curtains. Whether you were serving a roast, mashed potatoes, or a plate of Jell-O salad, that tiny window made mealtime feel like a performance, complete with an audience waiting on the other side. Do you remember peeking through one of these as a kid, watching dinner being served or sneaking a cookie before anyone noticed? Long before open floor plans and sliding glass walls, there was a quieter, more elegant way to move between rooms. The pocket door. Instead of swinging open and taking up precious space, it slid smoothly into the wall, disappearing entirely when not in use. Crafted from solid wood and often adorned with frosted glass or carved panels, these doors were both practical and beautiful. They offered privacy when needed, yet vanished like magic when you wanted a larger, open room. In Victorian houses and early 20th century homes, pocket doors were everywhere. Between parlors, dining rooms, even bedrooms. You could close off a noisy space in seconds or open it again for guests, all with one graceful motion. But as lightweight drywall replaced thick plaster and builders chased cheaper, faster designs, the craftsmanship required for pocket doors faded away. Long before microwaves and food delivery apps, many American homes had their very own indoor elevator. Not for people, but for dinner. It was called the dumbwaiter. This clever little lift ran between the kitchen and upper floors, using a simple rope and pulley system to carry trays of food, dishes, or even laundry. In grand homes, it was a servant's silent helper, allowing meals to glide effortlessly from the basement kitchen to the dining room above. But even in middle-class houses, smaller versions made life easier for families with steep staircases or heavy pots. It wasn't just convenience, it was efficiency wrapped in craftsmanship. Builders carefully designed hidden shafts into the structure of the house, often lined with smooth wood and finished with a tiny cabinet door on each level. You'd load your dinner below, give the rope a pull, and a few seconds later, dinner was ready upstairs without a single step. There was a time when even the simplest chore felt just a little elegant, and nothing showed that better than the built-in ironing board. Instead of dragging a heavy, squeaky metal board from the closet, you'd simply open a slim wooden cabinet built right into the wall, and there it was. Your ironing station, ready to go. Some had a tiny shelf for the iron. Others even hid a small outlet or mirror inside. With a quick pull, the board would fold down smoothly like a secret door to a quiet corner of domestic life. In homes from the 1930s through the 1960s, these clever fold-away boards were a mark of order and pride. Housewives could iron shirts while chatting on the rotary phone, listening to the radio, or keeping an eye on kids playing in the yard. When finished, you just fold it up, close the cabinet, and everything looked neat again, as if housework had never happened. Do you remember your mom or grandma's ironing board hidden inside the wall? Maybe the faint smell of steam and starch still takes you right back to that warm, humming kitchen. Long before smartphones followed us everywhere, the family phone had a place of honor, a little built-in alcove known as the telephone nook. Usually found in the hallway or just off the living room, it was a small recessed space in the wall, perfectly sized for a rotary phone, a notepad, and maybe a pencil hanging from a string. Some even had a built-in shelf or a tiny seat underneath, where you could sit for hours gossiping with friends or catching up with relatives across town. Did your childhood home have one of those cozy little phone corners? Maybe with a wall-mounted phone and a long, tangled cord? It's funny how those small spaces once held so many big conversations, isn't it? When summer heat settled over the neighborhood and the air turned still, families once relied on a simple but powerful invention: the whole house fan. Mounted in the attic or hallway ceiling, this giant fan could pull cool evening air through open windows and send the hot, stale air right out of the house. It wasn't quiet. The deep hum filled every room. But within minutes, you'd feel a refreshing breeze sweep through like a homemade windstorm. For many, it was the soundtrack of summer evenings before air conditioning came along. People planned their nights around that sound. Windows were opened just right. Curtains fluttered like sails, and the smell of fresh-cut grass or backyard barbecues drifted inside. By bedtime, the house felt cooler, calmer, ready for sleep. Before electric stoves and gas ranges became the center of the kitchen, families cooked and stayed warm around coal or wood-burning fireplaces, often fitted with clever swing arms for holding pots. These iron cranes were mounted right inside the hearth, allowing cooks to swing heavy kettles over the flames or move them aside to simmer. It was a design born of necessity and ingenuity, controlling heat by distance rather than dials. The fire's warmth filled the room. The smell of stew or cornbread drifted through the house, and the crackle of wood became the soundtrack of home life. Cooking wasn't quick, but it was steady and full of care. Families gathered near the hearth, talking while meals slowly came together, learning patience and rhythm from the fire itself. In an era before drywall and easy wall anchors, homeowners found a clever way to hang art without damaging their plaster: the picture rail. Running along the top of a room's walls, just below the ceiling, this narrow strip of molding held small metal hooks and cords that let you hang pictures anywhere you liked. No hammering, no cracked plaster, just graceful paintings or family portraits floating perfectly along the walls. It also gave rooms a sense of order, creating a distinct picture zone that separated art from the untouched space above. Victorian and early 20th century homes often used them as a point of pride. The cords could be silk, the hooks polished brass, and the arrangement of photos a weekend project that families debated like a gallery opening. Before paint was washable and walls were easy to repair, homeowners protected their interiors with a practical touch of beauty: wainscoting and chair rails. These wooden panels or horizontal moldings lined the lower half of a room's walls, shielding them from scuffs, chair backs, and the chaos of daily life. But beyond their usefulness, they brought texture and warmth, turning plain plaster rooms into spaces with charm and depth. In dining rooms, the glossy wood reflected candlelight. In hallways, it gave even narrow spaces a sense of craftsmanship and care. From Victorian beadboard to 1950s mid-century simplicity, every era had its own version. The detail told you something about the home and the people who lived there. In an age before flat-pack furniture and storage units, homes often came with their own built-in charm. Bookcases and window seats crafted right into the walls. These weren't afterthoughts, they were part of the architecture. Shelves flanked fireplaces or framed doorways, filled with family photo albums, encyclopedias, or the year's Reader's Digest collection. And under sunlit windows, cushioned benches hid deep drawers. perfect for storing quilts, board games, or child's secret treasures. They made rooms feel cozy, personal, and alive with character. Every scuff, every worn cushion, told a story of rainy afternoons spent reading or napping in a patch of sunlight. Builders designed homes to feel lived in, not just filled up. Did your grandparents' home have one of those wide window seats where you could curl up with a blanket and watch the world outside? Back when homes relied on radiators for heat, even the most functional pieces of metal were treated with style and ingenuity. Many families topped their cast iron heaters with wooden or marble radiator shelves, turning them into warm display spaces for framed photos, vases, or the family clock. Some went further, enclosing the whole radiator in decorative covers, elegant wooden cabinets with carved grills that disguised the bulky metal and softened the heat's blast. In winter, the air around them carried a faint scent of varnish and warmth, and cats always seemed to find their way onto the coziest spot. These simple additions made cold seasons feel gentler and homes more welcoming. They showed how Americans once blended practicality with pride, making beauty out of necessity. Maybe you remember leaning against one of those warm covers on a snowy morning, or setting your mittens there to dry. Funny how a chunk of iron could feel like the warmest part of home, isn't it? Before electricity and central heating changed everything, keeping a house warm in winter meant one thing: coal. And to make deliveries easier, many homes had coal chutes built right into their foundations. You can still spot them in some older neighborhoods. Small metal doors near ground level, often stamped with decorative patterns. The coalman would pull up his truck, open the hatch, and pour black lumps straight down a chute into the basement bunker below. The sound was unforgettable, a heavy, rattling roar that echoed through the house. Inside, the coal pile waited beside the furnace where someone, usually Dad, would shovel and stoke the fire each morning. It was dirty, heavy work, but it kept families warm through the harshest winters. As oil and gas furnaces replaced coal, those little doors were sealed up and forgotten. But if you grew up in an older home, you might still remember that deep rumble of coal hitting metal, a sound that meant heat, home, and another long winter survived. The icebox, usually made of oak or pine, was a sturdy cabinet lined with tin or zinc. A large block of ice was placed in the top compartment, cooling everything beneath it as it melted. The iceman would deliver fresh blocks right to your door, tongs in hand, his truck dripping cold water down the street on hot days. Meanwhile, the cold pantry was the unsung hero of many old farmhouses. Built on the shaded side of the home, with vents for airflow and stone shelves that stayed naturally cool. Butter, milk, and leftovers all found their safe spot there, even in midsummer. They were clever, quiet inventions that made daily life work long before electricity did. Deep beneath many old American homes lay one of the most practical spaces ever built: the root cellar. Cool, dark, and slightly damp, these underground chambers were the original refrigerators. Families stored potatoes, carrots, apples, and jars of preserves there, safe from freezing winters and scorching summers. The thick earth walls maintained a steady temperature, keeping food fresh for months without a single watt of electricity. Walking into a root cellar had its own feeling. The sharp scent of soil and onions, the creak of wooden shelves, and the comforting sight of rows of mason jars glinting in the dim light. Maybe you remember descending those cool stone steps with your grandparents, flashlight in hand, to fetch a jar of pickles or a sack of potatoes. That chill in the air and the quiet smell of earth felt like stepping into a small, timeless world beneath the home. Before electric dryers filled laundry rooms with humming and heat, many American homes relied on an ingenious device that worked with nature: the pulley-made, or ceiling-mounted drying rack. It was a simple yet brilliant invention. Several wooden slats suspended by ropes and pulleys from the ceiling, usually above the kitchen stove where warm air rose. After washing, clothes were hung on the slats, then hoisted up high to dry overnight. The warmth from cooking or the wood stove did the rest, saving energy long before eco-friendly became a buzzword. These racks were a familiar sight in early 20th century kitchens. Practical, quiet, and surprisingly elegant. They turned an everyday chore into a small ritual of patience, timing, and thrift. Housewives knew exactly when the shirts were ready by the feel of the fabric, not the beep of a machine. Before air conditioning and ceiling fans took over, American homes relied on subtle craftsmanship to keep air moving. And few details were smarter than the window transom. Mounted above doors or windows, these small hinged panes could swing open to let heat escape and fresh air circulate throughout the house. In summer, they created gentle cross breezes that cooled entire rooms without a single fan. In winter, they helped balance warm air between spaces, keeping hallways from feeling stuffy. Beyond their practicality, transoms added a touch of charm. Decorative glass, brass hardware, even hand-painted designs that caught the afternoon light. Opening one made that soft, creaking sound that always seemed to come with old houses, followed by the quiet sigh of fresh air drifting in. Long ago, before energy-efficient glass and climate control became standard, families had a seasonal ritual that marked the changing of the year, installing storm doors and storm windows. These extra layers of wood and glass acted as a protective shield, keeping out cold winds, rain, and snow while preserving warmth inside. Come spring, they'd be swapped for screens to let in fresh air and birdsong. It was an annual tradition, climbing ladders, tightening hooks, sealing edges, a bit of effort that made homes feel snug and safe through long winters. Many of those storm frames were small works of art, crafted with solid wood, polished brass fittings, and paint that matched the home's trim. Closing one on a blustery day brought a comforting hush, that quiet assurance that your home was ready for the season ahead. Did your family ever go through that same yearly ritual, hauling out the storm windows, smelling the cold air, and knowing winter was truly on its way? On summer nights before air conditioning cooled every corner of the house, families found comfort in a breezy escape, the sleeping porch. Often screened in and built on the second floor or off the back of the house, these porches caught the evening air just right. Parents would carry out thin mattresses or roll-away cots, and the whole family might drift off beneath the hum of crickets and the glow of lightning bugs. Mosquito netting hung from the ceiling, and the scent of freshly cut grass floated in with each soft gust. It was more than a place to sleep. It was an experience. You could lie there listening to the neighborhood settle down, the distant whistle of a train, or the gentle creak of the porch swing as someone stayed up talking a little longer. Step inside an early American home and you might find one of the coziest inventions ever built, the Inglenook fireplace. These large, recessed hearths were more than a source of heat. They were the true gathering spot of the household. Built deep into brick or stone walls, they often had benches tucked along each side, where families could sit close to the fire without getting scorched. The flicker of the flames lit faces, warmed hands, and filled the room with the comforting smell of burning wood. Before central heating, the Inglenook was where people shared stories, mended clothes, and planned the next day's work. Even in wealthier homes, it remained a symbol of warmth and belonging, a place where everyone came together, no matter their status. Long before entertainment centers and Bluetooth speakers took over our living rooms, families gathered around a single piece of furniture that brought the world into their home: the built-in record or radio cabinet. These beautifully crafted wooden enclosures were often built right into the wall or nestled within a bookshelf. Behind polished doors sat a turntable, a tube radio, and neatly stacked records, each one a soundtrack to everyday life. From Sunday sermons and presidential broadcasts to the swing of Glenn Miller or the smooth voice of Nat King Cole, these cabinets carried the sound of an era. The warm glow of the radio dial, the faint crackle of the speaker, and the rich smell of polished wood made listening an experience. Not just background noise. Families would gather close, leaning in as if the voice inside were speaking just to them. In the days when even ceilings were works of art, builders crowned their rooms with ceiling medallions and elaborate plasterwork. Centered around chandeliers or gas lamps, these sculpted ornaments weren't just decoration, they had purpose. The raised patterns helped disguise soot stains from early lighting and provided a sturdy anchor for heavy fixtures. But they also added elegance, turning an ordinary ceiling into a quiet masterpiece. Many featured floral or geometric designs hand-carved or molded by skilled craftsmen who treated every home like a small palace. As modern lighting replaced chandeliers and trends shifted towards smooth, simple ceilings, most medallions were removed or painted over. Yet when you walk into an old parlor and look up to see one still intact, it feels like stepping back into an era when beauty was part of everyday life. In the days when roads were muddy and horses ruled the streets, every American home had its first line of defense against the mess: boot scrapers and mudrooms. A boot scraper was usually a simple iron bar set near the front steps, sometimes ornate, sometimes plain, but always essential. After a long walk through rain or dirt, you'd stop, drag your boots along the edge, and leave the day's grime outside where it belonged. The mudroom, back entryway, took that idea even further, offering a space to hang coats, store boots, and shake off the cold before stepping inside. These areas weren't glamorous, but they were practical and welcoming. The smell of wet coats, the sound of boots thumping on tile, the warmth waiting just beyond the doorway, all small signs that you were home. Do you remember coming in from the cold, stamping your feet in a little entryway, or lining up your muddy shoes by the door? Those simple routines made ordinary houses feel warm, lived in, and full of care. Before fast fashion and throwaway clothes, most homes had a quiet little corner devoted to care and craftsmanship. The sewing or mending room. It didn't have to be large. Sometimes it was just a sunny spot by a window with a sturdy table, a treadle sewing machine, and a jar filled with colorful buttons. This was where torn hems were repaired, quilts were pieced together, and old clothes were given a second life. The gentle hum of the sewing machine mixed with the ticking of the clock, creating a rhythm as familiar as breathing. For many women, this room wasn't just about chores. It was a space of creativity and independence. A place to make something new out of what was worn, to pass down skills and stories stitched into every seam. Before walk-in pantries and oversized kitchen islands became standard, storage was built with purpose, and nothing proved that better than the pantry cupboard with sliding shelves. These tall, narrow cabinets often stood in kitchens or back halls, fitted with clever pull-out trays that made the most of every inch. Housewives could reach flour, sugar, or spices without bending or digging through clutter. Some even had labeled drawers for baking ingredients, built-in spice racks, or screened panels to keep air flowing and food fresh. Every motion was efficient, a quiet choreography of home life. You could hear the soft glide of a wooden shelf, the clink of glass jars, and maybe smell the faint sweetness of vanilla or freshly ground coffee. Did your family's old kitchen have one of those tall cupboards where everything had its perfect place? Up above the living space, hidden behind the rafters, another unsung hero kept old houses cool: the attic fan, often paired with louvered gables. Before insulation and air conditioning made the attic a sealed-off space, these fans pulled hot air up and out, letting cooler air drift through the rest of the house. The louvered vents on each side of the roof helped circulate air, keeping shingles dry and reducing heat that could bake the rooms below. You could always tell when one was running, that deep, steady hum that seemed to breathe right through the walls. Homeowners swore by them. They'd flip the switch on a hot evening, open a few windows, and within minutes the house would feel lighter, fresher, alive again. The air would swirl gently through curtains, carrying the scent of summer into every room. Do you remember hearing that low attic fan rumble at night, or watching the curtains dance in its breeze? Thank you for watching. Let's cherish these precious memories together and pass them on to future generations. If these beautiful memories brought a smile to your face and evoked warm recollections, don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe button to Back to Yesterday so you don't miss the next nostalgic journey.